The man who found Epstein's suicide note is serving life in prison for murdering 4 people. That's where this starts, and it gets worse from there. Yesterday, a federal judge released a handwritten note that Epstein's cellmate, Nicholas Tartaglione, convicted killer, claims he found after Epstein's first suicide attempt in July 2019. The note was never shown to federal investigators, never mentioned in any Bureau of Prisons record, never included in the millions of Epstein documents the Justice Department released to the public. It sat locked in a courthouse vault for 5 years, hidden, sealed, while the world debated whether Epstein was murdered or not. The one piece of paper that supposedly proves he wanted to die was sitting in a vault that investigators never opened. July 23, 2019, 18 days before Epstein's death. Guards find him on the floor of his cell, semi-conscious, strip of bedsheet around his neck. Tartaglione, former cop, 4 murders, bodies buried in his backyard, was his cellmate. Epstein's first statement to investigators? Tartaglione attacked him. He later recanted, told the prison psychologist Tartaglione never threatened him and he didn't want to make up something that wasn't there. Within days of recanting, he was moved off suicide watch. Within 3 weeks, he was dead. Tartaglione claims he found the note inside a book the morning after the incident, gave it to his lawyers. They submitted it as sealed evidence in his own murder case, where it disappeared from public view for 5 years, until he mentioned it on a podcast last year. The Justice Department's response when the note finally surfaced? This is the first time DOJ is seeing it as well. The agency investigating Epstein's death had never seen the note because it was submitted in sealed proceedings they weren't part of for 5 years.
Now read what it actually says. They investigated me for months, found nothing. It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want me to do? Bust out crying? No fun, not worth it. No signature, no date, no context. Unsigned and unverified. And here's the detail that should stop you cold. The very next morning after writing this, July 24th, Epstein sat with a prison psychologist and said directly, "I have no interest in killing myself." He told her suicide was against his religion, that he was a coward who didn't like pain. The following day, he repeated it. "I am too vested in my case to fight it. I have a life and I want to go back to living my life." 2 days, 2 separate psychological evaluations, both saying he didn't want to die. Either Epstein completely changed his mind within 24 hours of writing that note, or someone else wrote it. The judge who released it was explicit. This does not establish authenticity. It simply means the public has a right to access a judicial document. The FBI has not verified it. The DOJ has not verified it. CBS News, AP, and every major outlet covering this have all noted it remains unverified. But here's what nobody is saying loudly enough. Tartaglione is the only person who ever handled this note before it reached lawyers. A man convicted of 4 murders, who Epstein initially accused of attacking him, is the sole source of the one document that supports the suicide narrative. He found it, he held it, he gave it to his lawyers, and it stayed hidden for 5 years while the world argued about whether Epstein was killed. That is not a minor detail. That is the entire problem. Meanwhile, the broader investigation is still unraveling. Democrats walked out of a congressional Epstein files briefing this week. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick testified before the House Oversight Committee. The Republican chair stated publicly that Lutnick had not been 100% truthful about his ties to Epstein. Documents showed meetings between them as recently as 2012, despite Lutnick claiming he cut contact in 2005. The files keep coming, the names keep appearing, and nobody has been criminally charged. Epstein told 2 psychologists he wanted to live. The note says he didn't. The man who found it killed 4 people. The investigators never saw it, and it was hidden for 5 years. You decide what that means. The throne always falls. We just document it. Subscribe and tell me in the comments, do you think that note is real? Because the person who found it already answers that question.